I know that you're doing a lot of connecting on LinkedIn. What made you say, this is something that I really want to start doing? I want to start working on connecting people to kind of help bridge these gaps with people that's trying to get to the next levels in their career.
Sure. So that really all came about mostly by accident, through a confluence of circumstances. So a few years ago, back when the HR hiring market was much more robust, I would find these roles on LinkedIn and I'd reach out. And then at the end of the process, I would make what would usually happen is that I'd get all the way to the very end of the process, and then they would get back to me and say, "Oh, we hired an internal candidate," or we hired somebody who referred personally to the hiring manager. So after I heard this happen time and again, I said, I see a pattern here. This system is clearly rigged. So rather than getting worked up about it, I said, well, maybe I'll try to rig it so that I'm one of the people that it's rigged in favor for instead of against. So following that, in the spring of 2023, I happened to be introduced to 3 of the top HR super connectors in the New York area. Okay. And that really just came about by chance through other introductions. The introductions that they made for me, either directly or indirectly, started with just a small handful, and then that exploded into several dozen, and now into several hundred almost a year later. So then, and as time went on, I started to realize, I'm pretty good at this. I'm really good at not only connecting people, but figuring out who would be the right types of people to connect each person to. And I can usually figure that out honestly within a matter of a few seconds. And I can explain briefly how I go about it. So when people reach out to me for networking conversations, they typically fall into one of 2 categories. Either A, they're looking for a full-time senior level HR role, in which case I introduce them to my network of recruiters. Or B, they're looking to provide some type of third-party service in the HR space, in which case I introduce them to my network of consultants and other well-connected people in HR. Very rarely will I meet somebody who doesn't fall into either category, but it almost never happens that I meet somebody and I say that there's nobody I can introduce you to. That something that's happens maybe one out of 100 times or even less.
So, the main question, you said that you kind of stumbled into it. So what made you say, you know what, I stumbled into this, but I'm going full-fledged with this. I'm going to keep doing this in the manner that you were doing it.
Right. So, of course, while I'm happy to make connections for as many people as possible, I have to be getting something out of it too. So I said to myself, well, what would be the best way for me to get connected with all the influential people that I want to meet? Well, if I start introducing people that I already know, it only stands to reason that if you help somebody else out, they'll feel more inclined to help you out in return. Mm-hmm. So a large part of it, it's really, the way I see it, it's essentially a barter system. I don't want any money in exchange for the introductions that I make, unless your company pays a referral fee, which I'll gladly accept. But for the most part, it's like I said, it's a barter system. I introduce you to people I know, you introduce me to people you know. The faster we can get each other connected with more of the right people, the sooner we'll all get to the whatever place we ultimately hope to be, whatever that looks like for you.